Hi, this is Steve with iFLOW. Welcome to our video series. In this segment, I'd like to introduce the iFLOW lineup, product lineup. So we have 3 cabinet sizes and we have 4 controller options. So first, our cabinet sizes. We have 3 different cabinets. We have a 14-inch wide, a 16-inch wide, and then an 18-inch wide. Size-wise, 4 cubic feet, 5 cubic feet, almost 8 cubic feet with the largest one. The height, 27.18, so the same for the 14 and 16, just the depth is a little bit longer and the wider. And then for the 18-inch, we've got a 2-inch higher as well. So we call the iFLOW 14,000, 16,000, 18,000 are the model numbers we're using for each of those cabinet sizes. And the 14,000 unit can do up to 65,000 BTUs and up to 2 tons of cooling. The 16-inch can do up to 80,000 BTUs worth of heating and up to 3 tons of cooling. And then the 18-inch can do up to 95,000 BTUs worth of heating and 3.5 tons of cooling. The minimum input on the heating side is really a function of the hot water source. If we're pulling out of an electric tank, for example, there's no minimum input. I can pull 1,000 BTUs, 2,000 BTUs, 5,000 BTUs out of the tank type water heater without any problem. So really, it's a function of the minimum BTU of the heat source. If I'm using a boiler with a minimum input of 7,000 BTUs or 8,000 BTUs, that would be 8. So again, that's why it's up to. So on the controller side, we have 4 basic controllers. We have our basic model, and that basic model is no Wi-Fi, so it's a single zone, no Wi-Fi. Then we have one step up from the basic, and it's basically the W model. The W model has the basic function plus Wi-Fi. And again, it's only on a single zone. Then we step up to our D model, and our D model is the basic plus Wi-Fi plus the 2-zone controller. So we have 2 zones here, 2-zone thermostat connections here, and the D is for dual. And then we have the quad, the Q for quad. So the quad is the basic plus the Wi-Fi and a 4-zone controller. So now we have all 4 zones. So the 4 zone dampers and the 4 zone thermostat connections built onto the board. So 4 different controllers: our basic, our W, our D, and our Q. So each of them, so regardless of the model you get the software that includes the delta T optimization, the variable speed ECM adjustment, the full pump modulation, outdoor sensor gets connected, and the anti-stagnation recirculation. That's all built into all of the models, regardless of which one you purchase. It's just the Wi-Fi and then the zoning capability that differentiates the two. And we've just used different colors on these boards to make sure that we get them right. So this is just a summary of the different models. You would think that if we have 3 cabinet sizes and 4 board sizes, that we would have 12 models in total, but we've actually reduced some. We've taken the 14-inch out of the 4-zone. We were thinking that if you're doing 4 zones of heating or cooling, that you're likely going to want to use a bigger cabinet to get that air through. But we can do it with the 14-inch as well, if there was demand in the industry. It's not difficult to mix and match the boards to match each of the units. But we just thought, in terms of minimizing the SKUs for our wholesaler and contractor partners, we thought, hey, the majority is going to be on the 18-inch if we're doing 4 zones of heating or cooling, so we won't bother with the 16 or the 14-inch. But all to say, we can mix and match. So we have the 3 units with the basic board. We have 3 models with the Wi-Fi. Then we go to 2 units with the D. We have the 18-inch in D, and we have the 16-inch in D, and then we have the 4-zone is only with the 18-inch at this point. If you're excuse me, if you're in need of a smaller unit with a 4-zone board, for example, please let us know. We will, if there's interest in the market for that unit, we will definitely put it together and put it on the price list. So again, kind of where it fits. This is just a summary of the applications that it would fit. So the 18-inch Q would be okay if I want Wi-Fi, 3 or 4 zones with high, medium, or low external static pressure, which we can do. In terms of the size of house that we can do with each of the products, I've kind of just summarized basically the capabilities of each. So on our 14-inch with 65,000 BTUs or up to 65,000 BTUs, I can easily do 3,000 square feet of heating. With the 95,000, with the 18-inch up to 95,000, I can do 4,600 square feet of heating. So I can do lots of heating with our iFLOW unit without problem. So anywhere from 3,000 to 4,500 square feet. On the cooling side, from 2 to 3.5 tons, I can do anywhere from, let's say, 2,000 square feet to approximately 3,000 square feet, and we're using 400 CFM per ton. So if I stretch the delta T across the evaporator, we can probably get a little bit more of that. So that's why, 2,000 to 3,000 square feet of cooling. And remember, here we don't have to cool the basement. You remember the Canadian study that we showed in one of the previous videos. When we zoned it, the basement zone never called for cooling in the summer at all. So we can eliminate the square footage of the basement, which we would have on the heating side, because we have to heat the basement in the winter, but we don't have to cool it in the summer. So that's where you can actually balance up those two and match them in terms of the square footage that we would be able to do with both the heating and the cooling capacity. So in terms of accessories, we include the outdoor sensor with each and every unit. It's very important to have that outdoor sensor located outside the home if we can do it. That will feed back to our unit and will give us a curve. So it'll tell us if we're in spring, summer, fall, or winter. Obviously, if we're in the middle of winter, it's going to tell us, hey, you need to increase the BTU delivery to the home because it's cold outside. But in the spring and the fall, we can be at the shoulder season, and the sensor will say, hey, you don't need to deliver as much because it's only, it's 50 degrees out. It's not 20 degrees out, for example. And that's what that outdoor sensor will tell us. So when we have that outdoor sensor connected, we can go onto the controller and we can set the maximum temperature that we want the heating to run at, and then the minimum. And then we set this curve. So when we input those two factors, then we can determine the BTUs required at each temperature. So for example, what we're saying here is we set the temperature at which the heating will be completely off. So if it's 70 degrees outside, then we say, hey, we don't need any more heating, keep it off. So that'll be the bottom of the curve on one side. And then we say, okay, at what outdoor temperature will we want maximum heating? So in this case, we set it to -15 Celsius or 5 Fahrenheit. That's the temperature that we expect based on our design load that we're going to need maximum temperature. So we set that, and that will be that parameter. So anything lower than that temperature will run the unit at maximum. But between those 2 points, we set a linear curve. And what that does is, if it's 35 degrees out, that 35 degrees will target 50,000 BTUs, for example. If we're at 20,000 or 20 degrees outside, it's going to target 72,500. So this is the advantage of that outdoor reset curve, or the outdoor sensor, in that we can develop this curve, and that gives us an idea of the temperature, the BTUs we need to be shooting for. So then when our iFLOW unit looks at the supply and return temperature of the unit and the flow rate, we can actually calculate the BTUs and give us an idea of where we should be based on the outdoor temperature and what we're delivering into the space. That helps us modulate the temperature and the comfort into the home and not cycle the appliances unnecessarily. When you order the W, the D's, or the Q's, so the Wi-Fi model or the zone in the 2-zone or the 4-zone, so anything other than the basic board, you will get this Wi-Fi dongle. The Wi-Fi dongle connects to the PCB inside. It'll have the SSID and the password on both sides of the unit, and that's what we use to connect to the Wi-Fi of your home. There are two modes that the unit can operate in. It can work in pairing mode, and it can work in internet mode. So pairing mode means that just like connecting your phone to a Bluetooth speaker or to a Bluetooth car stereo, we can connect our phone to the Wi-Fi connect directly. So if I'm in range with the unit, I can pair directly to it. We don't call it Bluetooth pairing, or we don't use the Bluetooth option because the range wasn't as large as we needed. The Wi-Fi pairing, which works the same as Bluetooth pairing, has about 10 times the range that Bluetooth pairing does. So we know that if you're in the second floor checking the registers on the second or third floor, you don't want to lose connection to the unit. So that's why we use the Wi-Fi pairing instead of Bluetooth pairing. But they do the same thing, and the concept is the same. So we're connecting directly to the unit through our phone through the pairing option. The other way is to connect through your home network system. You connect through the network just like you would hook up any of your Wi-Fi devices. For example, your smart thermostat, your Nest thermostat, or your Ecobee is all connected through your home network. Your printer that you use with your computer is hooked to your home network. Your laptop computer is hooked to your home network. We would hook to your home network as well. So you would connect your iFLOW unit to your home network, and then it would be available over the internet, so that over the network. And then you could use your phone to remotely access the unit over the net. If you're not using it over if you don't have it hooked up to your home network, then you can connect to it by pairing, but as soon as you leave your home, I think our range is about 100 feet. When you leave the home, then you will lose connection and you won't be able to access the unit remotely. So that's the only difference between the pairing mode and the internet mode, is whether you want remote access to the unit. But again, with all the units except for the basic board, you get the Wi-Fi dongle with it. Oh, and as I mentioned, I kind of went through this, but what you can get with the smartphone app, you get smart mode. You get to remotely monitor and adjust your system. You get warnings and alerts to your phone or to an email. For example, low temperature or a service alert or any of the error codes that may come up. You can adjust the temperatures. You can adjust your schedules. So we have a 5-1-1 or 5-2 or a 7-day programming schedule. You can set the daytime and nighttime setback. As we saw by that Canadian study when we were zoning on the AC side, just by running AC setback on the AC side for the zones, you can save up to 55%, as that Canadian study showed. And then with the iFLOW, because if we're connected using the Wi-Fi over the net, then we can actually have remote tech support. So if there is ever an issue with your unit, just like you can have somebody remotely come in and help you with your laptop and the setup of your laptop and any accessories and any problems, we can do the same. So you can give us permission if you want us to come in and assist you with the setup, the reset of your unit. Here is the app. You can look at the different schedules, all the information that you can get, whether it's heating mode, cooling, cooling or just circulation. You can get your local temperature, increase or decrease. You can find out what's going on in the house. You can set your schedules, no problem. We have a contractor version as well. The contractor version includes the ability to test, so test the blower speed, test the circulator. You have all of the condition, the operating condition of the unit, so your supply, return, humidity, all the different zones that you've got operating, and then you've got all the error codes. So then as part of that contractor app, we have a listing of all the units that you actually have installed. So this would be for contractors, for property managers, for builders, and that you have a listing of all your installs. So when you have this screen on your phone, you just tap the address that you want to locate, and then you can remotely monitor the performance of all the installations. You can adjust the system if needed. Get warning alerts, low temperature, or anything all the error codes are pushed to your phone or to your email. The unit will automatically try to auto backup and auto rectify. So if there is any error that comes up, it's not going to just shut off and leave you without heat or cooling. It's actually going to try and rectify the issue that it has seen. And then if it can't, then it will push out a warning to your phone or to your email. The last function is broken thermostat mode. So if, for example, the temperature in the home drops below 4 degrees and there's still no call for heat, we know that that can cause freezing, frozen pipes and damage within the home. So we're not going to let the home freeze. So when it hits 4 degrees Celsius, we will actually bring on the unit automatically to deliver heat into the home, and we're going to assume that the thermostat is broken. We can also do the same thing on the heating side or on the cooling side. So when the heat rises in the home to a level that's potentially dangerous, for example, if we were in Florida or if we were in Georgia in the middle of a hot summer, the temperature in the home was above 85, 90, 95, for example, and we knew there were occupants there, we would definitely want to bring on the air conditioning. And again, we'd assume it's a broken thermostat. So on the cooling side, we can actually set the temperature that we want to have the cooling limit on at, if you will. If the power goes out to the home and we lose connection with the unit, that will also send an error code to your phone. So when the phone loses connection with the unit itself and is not receiving any communication, then you'll get an error on your phone saying, hey, I've lost communication with the issue. So maybe not a broken thermostat, for example, but what if the power went out? If the power went out at the location, then of course you're not going to have any Wi-Fi there either. Then you'll get a notification on your phone that, hey, you've lost connection with the unit. Could be power, could be, your internet's down, could be a number of things, but you'll at least know that to go and check because you don't have any communication any further. With the app, you can actually set the, whether it's heating, cooling, or circulation, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, we can do up to 4 zones. You can adjust the CFM rate for each zone, the temperature for each zone. You can adjust the circulator speed and the blower motor speed. So all that functionality is right at your fingertips, and it's a matter of increasing or decreasing in the app, right? The up or down to adjust any of the parameters. We think that's a lot easier than trying to set all the parameters with a limited number of dip switch settings and different combinations, which will only give you it's a finite amount of combinations regardless, whereas this gives you from 0 to 100% in terms of the modulation range that you can set on the unit. Now let's look at our optional accessories. For each and every installation, you're going to require a circulator to bring the hot water from the heat source over to the hydronic coil of the air handler. We have made available a pump for your purchase as an option. It's a 1558. Comes with 2 unions, of course, and then it comes with a very low pressure drop check valve, and that check valve fits right inside the union body, so making the install quick and easy. The pump is actually wired directly to the air handler because we are going to control the pump speed. You do not want to use an ECM pump with our unit. Just PSC pump would be fine with ours. We have an easy plumbing kit. Whether it's with tankless, and again, regardless of the brand, most of the manufacturers have an isolation valve kit, which will have shutoff valves, drain valves, and unions, and then it'll have a pressure relief valve on the hot side. We've got that as well, but you can also use that for a boiler or combi boiler as well. Most of the components will be very similar. So we've put this kit together. It's an SF rated kit. But basically designed to standardize the kit to ensure consistency throughout the installation, but also make a speedier installation and a less costly installation. So in that kit, you're going to have the hot side, so again the union, the isolation valve, the drain valve, and the pressure relief valve. On the cold side, you have the same thing except for the pressure relief. You have a mixing valve in there. You have the pump, the same circulator we saw previously. You have the connections to the air handler. You have the air vent, and then you have the stainless steel connections that goes between all of the different connectors. That's all included in the kit and will be available next month. We have 2 sets of dampers. We have a set of round dampers, and then we have a set of square and rectangular dampers. So our round dampers come in 6, 7, and 8 inch diameters. From there you can expand out if you need to, or reduce if you need to. The damper is built right onto the round housing, and it's a 3-wire damper. The reason we chose to use circular is because if you look at the area of the round duct versus the square duct, and then the airflow through the square duct, if you look at the airflow through the square duct, you'll notice the corners. There isn't a lot of movement there, so most of the movement is going through the middle, which is exactly where the round duct is. So actually, we are using less metal to make a round duct than we are with a square duct, and that should result in lower cost. You have less surface area, so less pressure drop. It's going to be lighter because you're using less metal. You have longer lengths, so these lengths come 12-foot lengths instead of the 4 or 6, so the joinery required between each section is going to be a lot less, so less labor, fewer joints, less leakage, which would be better for the performance side. And then the 4, 6, 8, and even 10 inch all fit in a 10-inch joist space. So that's why we came out with the round dampers. But we realized that in retrofit situations and many existing conventional systems, they are still square. So we have an 8x8, an 8x16, and an 8x20 inch square and rectangular duct as well. So those are available to you, both the round and the square. We also have a mounting stand. This stand basically facilitates the flexibility in the mechanical room. So sometimes you may not have wall space available to mount the boiler or the tankless unit, and in that case we can provide a stand that will allow the tankless or the boiler to stand above the air handler. The height is adjustable, and the horizontal bars are adjustable so that you can adjust to meet the the height of the boiler or the tankless, and then have enough room to get your connections between the bottom of the unit and the top of the air handler. In this case, you service the tankless from the front, you service the iFLOW from the front. There's no need to get to the sides of the unit, and no clearance to combustibles on that. So it gives you just additional flexibility. Whether it's, you see here we've got a Rinnai unit on the rack, and here we have a Navien unit. So regardless of the brand, the units are adjustable both widthwise and horizontally to be able to adjust to the different configurations. As I mentioned, the reason for that, it allows us to set up from the front. So for example, if we have our 14-inch unit, we have a 3x3 closet here, and this is dimensionally accurate. So when we open the closet door, we have access to our filter rack and our filter. We can service the tankless from above, from the front, but above the air handler, and then we can service the air handler from below, just as we would here. We can easily pull off the front door of the air handler, access the tankless from the front, air handler from the front. Everything comes out front ways with zero clearance to combustibles around the rest of that box. So this, we can put our unit into less than a 3x3, and even with our 18-inch, this is all our 14-inch, but even with our 18-inch we go up to a 6x2. In this case we don't need the stand, as we have the ability to mount the tankless on the wall. So, but if you don't, that's the stand is optional and available to you should it help. When we're connecting with a Navien, you get some bonus features because the iFLOW unit and the Navien can actually communicate with each other. So what you'll need to purchase is an optional communication cable that will run from one unit to the other. We have a 5 meter and 10 meter or 16 feet and 32 feet lengths. Those will be available, or those are available for purchase. Then when you connect the two of them together, they will automatically recognize each other. What that does is it allows the iFLOW to command the Navien to increase or decrease its heating set point in heating mode. So when we have a call for the thermostat, the iFLOW will then tell the Navien, hey, I'm in heating mode, please give me 130 degrees, 150 degrees, 180 degrees, depending on what we're seeing with the outdoor temperature sensor. This will also allow us to run with a post-purge burner off exercise function. So when we're exercising the pump for anti-stagnation, or at the end of a heating call, there will still be some heat left in the tankless, and there'll still be some heat left in the hydronic coil in the iFLOW. So we keep the blower in the iFLOW running to move that last little bit of heat. Even though the thermostat has stopped calling for heat, we're going to not want to waste that heat, so we deliver it into the home. So we keep the blower running, and we'll also start the pump, and that pump will circulate to the Navien and then back to the iFLOW, and then we will deliver that residual heat into the home as well. So that's that burner off, post purge, and pump exercise function. The iFLOW will tell the Navien, hey, this is a post purge circulation, so don't fire your burner. So those are two important features that you get with the communication cable when pairing an iFLOW with the Navien. But to do that, you will need the communication cable. So thank you for your time. We appreciate it. If you have any questions, you can always reach me on email or on my cell phone, or toll free 1-800-985-9227. So thank you for your time. We appreciate your interest in iFLOW.